Welcome to my bold and beautiful Today's Show channel. I hope today fantastic for everyone. Please hit the subscribes button and give this video thumbs up. Daphne's failed romance with Carter leads to new prospects. Daphne Rose faces rejection from Carter Walton, as he remains devoted to Hope Logan. With Zen Forrester focused on his career, will Spencer become Daphne's unexpected new love interest at Forrester Creations? Bold and beautiful bombshell. Daphne's desperate chase for love hits dead end. Daphne Rose's love life spirals into crisis. Daphne Rose arrived at Forrester Creations as a stunning beauty with a secret mission: to help Steffi Forrester break up Carter Walton and Hope Logan. But somewhere along the way, the schemer seems to have fallen victim to her own trap. Despite her undeniable beauty and charm, Daphne has struck out with not one but two Forrester men, leaving her romantically stranded in a workplace filled with gorgeous people who barely notice her. Carter's obsession with Hope leaves Daphne heartbroken. The signs have been there for weeks. Daphne has pulled out all the stops trying to seduce Carter, but the handsome COO is completely blinded by his devotion to Hope Logan. In a devastating blow to Daphne's ego, Carter recently told Brooke Logan point-blank that he would never give up on Hope, not even entertaining the possibility of a romance with anyone else. "I won't give up on her," Carter declared firmly to Brooke on May 15th, crushing any lingering hopes Daphne might have harbored. Let's be real. When a man is willing to stand up to his love interest's mother and declare his undying devotion, there's not much room for a third wheel. Daphne's attempts to catch Carter's attention have ranged from subtle flirtation to blatant seduction, and none of it has worked. Carter remains utterly, completely, hopelessly devoted to Hope. Zen and Daphne. The romance that never was. What makes Daphne's situation even more frustrating? The fact that there was genuine chemistry between her and Zen Forrester Dominguez back in February. Remember those early interactions? The lingering glances? The natural rapport that seemed so different from her calculated pursuit of Carter? For a hot minute, it looked like we might see the real Daphne emerge in her interactions with Zen. Viewers caught glimpses of an actual connection forming between the two. But faster than you can say missed opportunity, their potential romance fizzled out. By March, Daphne was actually confiding in Zen about her feelings for Carter. Talk about a romance killer. And Zen? He's been increasingly focused on his design career and family loyalty issues, rather than romantic entanglements. In fact, he's been practically MIA from recent episodes, leaving Daphne with even fewer prospects at Forrester. Will Spencer, Daphne's unexpected new prospect? With both Carter and Zen out of reach, could Daphne set her sights on a surprising new target? Will Spencer, Bill Spencer's son and Liam's half-brother, has recently started interning at Forrester Creations. Young, impressionable, and definitely awestruck by the beautiful women around him, could Will become Daphne's next project? It's no secret that Will has been enjoying the eye candy at FC. And let's face it, Daphne might be desperate enough at this point to pursue the company's newest intern just to save face. After all, being constantly rejected can't be easy on the ego, especially in the fishbowl environment of Forrester. The age gap might raise eyebrows, but since when has that stopped anyone on this show? Besides, Will is no longer a child. He's a young man ready to make his mark in the fashion world. And if Daphne decides to make him her next target, the experience would certainly be educational for the young Spencer heir. The future for Forrester's loneliest beauty. The question on everyone's mind. What's next for Daphne? Will she continue pursuing Carter despite his obvious devotion to Hope? Will she try to reignite whatever spark might have existed with Zen, if he ever returns to the spotlight? Or will she set her sights on young Will Spencer in a desperate bid to salvage her love life? One thing's for sure. Daphne Rose isn't giving up the search for love at Forrester Creations. But with Carter obsessed with Hope and Zen focusing on his career rather than romance, her options are dwindling fast. Could this beautiful schemer be forced to look outside the company for love? Or is she destined to become Forrester's most gorgeous wallflower, all dressed up with nowhere to go and no one to love? Grace's bomb, Katie's wisdom, Zen's persuasion. The bold and the beautiful spoilers are in for the week of May 19, 2025. Fans can expect Grace Buckingham to have a medical update for Liam Spencer. Katie Logan tries to guide Rich Forrester. Meanwhile, Zen Forrester Dominguez pushes Daphne Rose to start a new line. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Grace Buckingham's bomb. Next week, fans can expect Grace to drop a bombshell on Liam. While Liam and everyone else who knows the truth will hope for a good prognosis, that's not what happens. Unfortunately, Grace has bad news for Liam. It's been stated that these types of tumors are unpredictable, and nobody knows how long Liam has left. Could this bad news be that the tumor is growing faster than they expected? Katie Logan's wisdom. Meanwhile, Steffy Forrester Finnegan will have to keep Liam's condition a secret. While Steffy did tell Hope Logan and Taylor Hayes, they have been sworn to secrecy. Steffy pleaded with Taylor to even keep this from Ridge Forrester. However, if Ridge suspects Taylor is hiding something from him, he could assume the worst. Meanwhile, Katie will have a heart-to-heart with Ridge. It is teased that Katie will give him some solid advice about his love life. Zend Forrester Dominguez's persuasion. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for next week reveal that Zend, Electra Forrester, and Will Spencer team up. The trio try to convince Daphne to start another line at Forrester Creations. Week of May 19, 2025. Daphne will see an opening to Carter Walton's heart. Meanwhile, Hope and Steffy finally make amends. When Hope goes to reunite with Carter, she could be blindsided by his anger and feelings of betrayal. That is when Hope tells Carter some important news. This is probably that Liam is dying. Later in the week, Taylor and Brooke Logan start bickering about the events at the fashion show. The two women will also war over Ridge. Later, an unexpected event snaps Brooke out of her desperate pity party. Finally, by the time Friday's episode rolls around, one couple will reunite. Will this be Ridge and Brooke? Carter and Hope? Two other people that have been apart for too long? Daphne Rose had walked into Forrester Creations armed with beauty, ambition, and a mission. Breakup Carter Walton and Hope Logan at Steffy Forrester's urging. But what started as a strategic maneuver had turned into something far more dangerous. Daphne had fallen for the man she was sent to distract. Beneath her icy composure and calculated charm, she nursed a growing vulnerability that began to eclipse her scheming instincts. Daphne, the bombshell with a biting wit and flawless fashion sense, had been confident in her ability to lure Carter away from Hope, but she quickly learned that love isn't a formula to manipulate, especially when the man in question is hopelessly devoted to someone else. Carter Walton wasn't just infatuated with Hope, he was all in. Daphne's endless flirtations, suggestive glances, and conveniently timed hallway run-ins had zero effect on him. Carter's laser focus on Hope was unshakable, as confirmed in a scene that sent shockwaves through the halls of Forrester Creations. When Brooke Logan tried to persuade Carter to consider moving on, he flatly rejected the idea, saying he would never give up on Hope, declaring, "I won't give up on her," in a moment that left Daphne crushed and humiliated. That brutal declaration, overheard by an eavesdropping Daphne, marked the beginning of her emotional spiral. Her heartbreak wasn't just about rejection. It was the realization that for all her scheming and self-confidence, she had fallen into her own trap. She hadn't just wanted Carter for the plan. She wanted him for herself. And so, Daphne's perfectly curated facade began to crack. Her friends noticed the shift. Fewer catty comments, longer stares into space, moments of self-doubt creeping into her once razor-sharp dialogue. She'd played the long game for Carter's heart and lost. Meanwhile, Zend Forrester Dominguez, the man who once offered her a spark of real connection, remained a frustrating enigma. Their early flirtation had felt genuine, untainted by manipulation. There was something soft and organic about the way Zend looked at her, a contrast to the guarded coldness with which Carter interacted with her. But Daphne, foolishly, had confided in Zend about her feelings for Carter, an error that extinguished whatever flame had flickered between them. Zend had backed off quietly, diverting his energy into his designs and navigating the murky waters of family loyalty. The chemistry they had was undeniable, but the timing had been wrong, the signals mixed. Zend disappeared into his work, physically and emotionally distancing himself just when Daphne might have needed him most. By spring, he was nearly invisible, and Daphne's romantic prospects were as barren as the Forrester rooftop garden in winter. But then came an unexpected twist: Will Spencer. No longer the precocious child who played chess with his father or tried to impress Katie with his school projects, Will had returned to the canvas as a striking, ambitious intern at Forrester Creations. Barely in his 20s, He still had the bright-eyed eagerness of youth, but there was a simmering confidence in his gaze, something unmistakably Spencer about him. As the son of Dollar Bill and half-brother to Liam, Will carried legacy in his DNA, and a healthy fascination with the glamorous women who strutted through Forrester's fashion house. Daphne barely noticed him at first, dismissing him as just another eager newbie, until one day she caught him staring, too long too intently. She confronted him playfully. "You planning to design something in turn? Or are you hoping to catch a glimpse of me in a fitting room?" Will, to his credit, didn't flinch. "Maybe both," he'd quipped, his smirk not quite as practiced as his father's, but charming in its own right. The moment was brief, but something shifted. Daphne saw possibility. Not a man she had to chase, but someone intrigued by her from the start. Could she mold him? Could she steer him? Or more dangerously, could she feel something real again? And while the idea of romancing a Spencer in turn may have initially sounded desperate, Daphne was nothing if not a survivor. With Carter off the table and Zend MIA, Will's interest offered something rare. A clean slate. Yes, the age difference was significant, but this was Forrester Creations where morality bends like chiffon in the breeze. Will was young, yes, but ambitious, bright, and open-hearted. More importantly, he looked at Daphne like she was a goddess, not a failed schemer. The thought alone revived her ego. Could she make a man fall for her? Not because of a mission, not because of a plan, but because she was simply worth it. It was tempting. Still, Daphne hesitated. She had spent so long strategizing, so long trying to control the board, that the thought of falling naturally without manipulation was terrifying. And yet, every time Will found an excuse to bring her coffee, or stayed after hours just to be near her workspace, that temptation grew stronger. Meanwhile, drama exploded all around her. Grace Buckingham dropped a bombshell on Liam Spencer. A worsening prognosis that left the Spencer family reeling. The word terminal hung heavy in the air. And though Daphne wasn't directly involved in that storyline, the news cast a long shadow over the building. Hope Logan, shaken to her core by Liam's health crisis, pulled away from Carter at the exact moment he believed they were finally turning a corner. Hope's sudden emotional withdrawal triggered confusion, frustration, and ultimately a confrontation that left Carter gutted. When Hope finally told him the truth, that Liam was dying, Carter was stunned. His loyalty to Hope was suddenly conflicted by reality. Could he support her through this while still being the man who wanted a future with her? And more importantly, did Hope even want that future anymore? Daphne, sensing the tremors in their relationship, debated whether to step in once more. Was Carter vulnerable enough now to consider someone else? Or would trying again only leave her even more humiliated? Zend, re-emerging from his design cocoon, added to the chaos. Teaming up with Electra Forrester and Will, he encouraged Daphne to consider launching a new fashion line. "You've got something to say," Zend told her one late evening in the design studio, "and fashion's how you say it." For the first time in months, Daphne felt something other than rejection. She felt seen. But was Zend's interest purely professional? Or was there still a spark beneath the surface, buried under months of avoidance? Electra, never one to miss drama, watched the trio closely. She saw Will's eyes track Daphne's every move, Zend's protective posture, and Daphne's unreadable smile. "You've got options," Electra whispered to Daphne after a fitting. "Don't chase. Let them come to you." It was advice Daphne wasn't used to, letting go of control. And yet, she considered it. As the week progressed, Hope and Steffi began to mend their fractured relationship, united by concern over Liam. Their détente came just as Taylor and Brooke reignited their never-ending war over Ridge, proving that some rivalries are simply eternal. Brooke, shaken by an unexpected event at the fashion show, had a rare moment of clarity, one that pushed her to reevaluate her own desperate grasp on the past. And Ridge? Ever the conflicted patriarch, he found himself once again caught between the two women who defined decades of his life. Katie Logan stepped in with her usual grace and wisdom, offering Ridge advice not just about love, but about letting go of control and embracing change. Against this backdrop of emotional chaos, Daphne stood at a crossroads. Carter, the man she once schemed to seduce, now found himself emotionally adrift after Hope's revelation. Zend, the man who once sparked something authentic, was back in her orbit, challenging her to find her voice in fashion. And Will Spencer, the unexpected wild card, was slowly becoming the most emotionally available and genuinely interested man in her life. Daphne, once desperate to control every move, now faced a terrifyingly unfamiliar choice. Let the chips fall where they may and follow her heart, or revert to manipulation and risk destroying every chance at real connection. The very thing she came to Forrester to execute, a plan, had become her greatest weakness. Because real love, the kind that lasts, can't be manufactured or scripted. It must be felt. And for the first time, Daphne Rose was beginning to feel something real. Not just attraction or ambition, but vulnerability, hope, and maybe even the faintest glimmer of love. As the Friday cliffhanger loomed, viewers watched Daphne slip into a stunning new gown, Zen's design, crafted just for her. She stood before a mirror, contemplating the woman staring back at her. Not the seductress, not the schemer, just a woman trying to be loved. Downstairs, Carter was alone, emotionally wrecked from his confrontation with Hope. Zen adjusted lighting for an upcoming shoot, sneaking glances at the stairs, hoping Daphne would show. And Will, nervously holding a sketchpad, rehearsed what he planned to say if she came near. 3 men, 3 different paths, and 1 woman finally ready to choose, not based on tactics but on truth. Because in the fashion world of the bold and the beautiful, love may be unpredictable, but for Daphne Rose it might finally be real.